Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Left But Hinata Is Confused, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's Come on Hinata, concentrate. Focus your chakra all over your body and release it simultaneously. Neji eyed his cousin with his arms crossed. He wasn't hopeful. They had been working on tapping into her massive chakra reserve for 2 years now, and she could still only produce the chakra through her hands and feet. Neji noted that it was nothing to bat an eye at. Even he had to admit that the amount of chakra his cousin could produce was impressive, but still he had hoped she would be farther along than this. Many times she had completely blacked out after using one jutsu with her chakra, and others she could go for half an hour before draining herself completely. Still, he could not reproduce the response he had received during the first day he discovered this hidden well inside her. Her chakra levels had been completely normal that day, the same as it had always been. Then a massive flow appeared from nowhere. He watched as the mass of power flowed toward the hundreds of release points on his cousin's body, but she was not strong enough to control the sudden surge of chakra within her. All she could manage was the pathetic stream that shot out of her hands. Before she completely passed out that day, Neji witnessed the chakra backtrack and dissipate back toward her heart. After that, he didn't want to train her. He was afraid. Afraid that his cousin wouldn't be able to handle this power, afraid she would injure herself, he was afraid she wouldn't survive. He had advised Hiashi of his concern and he just brushed them off. He wanted Hinata to learn how to control her power no matter what it took. He believed in her. Neji observed his cousin. She was struggling to call on and use the hidden chakra within her. He watched as the familiar surge cascaded down her chakra channels, searching for release points and finding none. Hinata's lifeless face flashed through Neji's mind as the chakra began to double back toward its source and a single wet bead formed on his brow. That's enough for today, he calmly instructed his cousin, his stoic face betraying nothing. Hinata doubled over in exhaustion, her breathing shallow and heavy. I'm sorry Neji, I have failed again. Hinata kept her eyes to the ground as the shame of 2 years of training took hold of her. Neji looked down on his cousin. When you are finished resting, we will continue working on Twins' Lion Fist. Hinata nodded her head in acknowledgement. She was still winded from her previous efforts. They stood there in silence as the breeze kicked up the dust lining the Hyuga training ground and Hinata slowly regained her strength. I must do this. He is watching me, judging me. I am not weak, I'm strong. Hinata straightened herself and placed her hands at the ready. Her face hard and determined. I am ready now. Neji coldly eyed his cousin, then prepared himself to fight. He knew she was still weakened by her earlier attempt at chakra control and the match wouldn't last long. He was still fresh, and even if he wasn't, he was still the superior taijutsu user. Neji faked with a high left jab and followed quickly with a roundhouse kick into Hinata's ribs. Hinata stumbled backward and gasped for air. You should have easily blocked that attack, Hinata, or are you so weak you cannot remember the training that should be second nature to you now? Just because you are learning a new technique is no excuse for forgetting another. Hinata's heart doubled back on itself, desperately trying to retreat from the condescending gaze of her cousin. She could see the failure she was in his ghostly eyes. Why did she try so hard to fight it? Neji backed off and resumed his fighting stance, waiting for Hinata to come at him. No, he wants me to fight him. I can do this. I can beat him. For Naruto. Hinata defiantly raised her hands and, without a word, forced as much chakra as she could to them, forming 2 giant chakra clouds shaped like lions. She moved her hands quickly, in and out, back and forth. Her movements were so fast Neji could not read them as she charged forward and swung with her right at Neji's face. A sharp pain LD her arm as Neji deflected her attack. Then she swiftly came around with the other arm and caught him in the stomach. The force of the blow threw Neji back and he collided with the stone wall before sliding down and collapsing in a heap. Neji. Hinata ran over to her cousin and lifted his head. Are you okay? Neji opened his eyes and looked up at his cousin. Immediately he shoved her away and climbed to his feet. I am fine, it is nothing I can't handle. he said, refusing to meet her eyes as he brushed himself off. That was amazing. A voice came from the far side of the ring. Hinata turned to see Naruto leaning against a wooden pillar next to the house. What are you doing here? Hinata stammered, her eyes wide with horror. I was supposed to meet you here at noon, remember? Or have you forgotten? Naruto grinned. Oh yeah, right, I remember, I didn't realize. Hinata looked at Neji. You may go. You've trained enough for one day. Meet me back here tomorrow morning. Neji instructed Hinata before making his way into the house. Hinata turned back toward Naruto. I'm sorry Naruto, I must have lost track of the time. My sessions with Neji have become longer and more intense as of late, and I have been losing track of the time more and more. I would still like to hang out. I just need a moment to get ready. Sure Hinata, I don't mind, besides I forgot the ramen. Naruto turned out his pockets and showed her his empty hands. Hinata giggled. That's fine, I'm not that hungry right now anyway. Why don't you wait for me inside? I still need to get ready to go. Naruto followed Hinata into the uninviting rooms of the Hyuga household. She led him through a long dark narrow hallway that opened up into a large living room decorated in cherry wood furniture. The room was very majestic with its high ceilings, and Naruto felt the wealth and power of the Hyuga clan. I will come back for you here Naruto. Please make yourself comfortable. Hinata left Naruto alone inside the overbearing room, wondering how he could possibly ever feel comfortable in a place like this. Hinata ran through the shower as fast as she could. Afterward, she frantically searched her closet for something to wear. She couldn't just go out in her ninja clothes, she had to wear something cute, something that would catch his attention, but all of her clothes were so dark. She had practically thrown her entire closet onto her wood floors when something caught her eye. She pulled the remaining clothes toward the middle of the rack so she could see what it was. Behind all of her dark threads hung a cute baby pink summer dress. Of course, how did I forget I owned that? Hinata remembered the day she bought the dress. She had been with Kiba just hanging out when they passed by a shop and the dress was hanging in the window. She had paused to admire it when Kiba asked her if she wanted to go and try it on. She had protested at first, but he reminded her that all of the clothes she owned were either for training or missions, and besides, he added, that color would look good against your hair. Hinata had given him a shy smile and her cheeks had turned a rosy pink. She could tell he wasn't going to give up until she tried on the dress, so she caved into him, and herself. When she finally had the dress on, she loved it so much she didn't want to take it off. Not only had Kiba been right about the color making her hair pop, but she loved the way the dress loosely hugged her curves and wisped out at the bottom. She had never worn it because she had never had a reason to before today. Hinata pulled the pink dress over her head and smoothed out the wrinkles. Then she grabbed a pair of strappy sandals and checked her hair in the mirror. As Hinata looked at the full effect of the ensemble, she couldn't help feel the strange tug at her heart again. Gently she cupped the locket in her hand and closed her eyes. Please, not right now, she whispered. Then she pushed the feeling away and let the heart fall back onto her chest as she made her way down the hall. Hinata stood outside the door leading to the room she knew Naruto was patiently waiting in. Her heart pounded in her ears and her stomach dropped as she stood frozen in place. What if he thinks I'm trying too hard? Maybe I shouldn't have worn this dress. What if he thinks I think we're on a date? What if he thinks we're on a date? What if he doesn't like what I'm wearing? Maybe I should go and change and wear what I always wear, but he's never noticed me in what I always wear. Besides, it's hot outside and we are hanging out like friends. He said we are friends. I'm just a friend in a dress. A friend in a dress. Hinata took a deep breath and opened the door. I'm ready to hang out Naruto. Hinata smiled as she shyly played with her dress. Good. I can't wait to get out of here. I'm sorry Hinata, but this place isn't friendly. Naruto announced. He got up and walked past Hinata, making his way down the hall. Come on Hinata, instead of hanging out in the garden, I thought you could help me with some stuff in town. Hinata watched as Naruto continued down the hall. He didn't even notice. He didn't even notice me. He just walked right on by, like nothing was different, like I'm the same Hinata. So why'd I spend so much time worrying about this dress? Hinata shook her head and made her way after Naruto. So what did you want to do Naruto? she asked when she finally caught back up with him outside. Well, I thought you could help me. I have a date with Sakura tonight, and I don't know what to do, or where, or anything. Naruto bit his lip and looked around nervously. Oh, I see. Hinata began playing with her fingers. I understand if you don't want to help. I just thought, since we are friends and all and you're a girl, you could help me. And no, it's fine, I just wasn't expecting. I just wasn't prepared to set up a date. Hinata forced herself to look up into his innocent blue eyes. Her stomach lurched and her eyes began to sting, but she fought back the tears. This wasn't the time, he doesn't know, how could he know? We are friends. Still, she wanted to lock herself up in her room and hide away from his sunny smile and unkempt hair. His nervous optimism was far from the painful emptiness that accompanied unknowing rejection. Hinata forced a smile to her face and led the way into town. We'll start with your clothing first. Hinata and Naruto went from one shop to another, picking out different outfits for Naruto try on. Hinata was exhausted by the time Naruto decided on a pair of stonewashed jeans with a white button-up long-sleeved shirt. Hinata liked the way it looked with one side left untucked, but Naruto insisted on tucking both sides. He wanted to impress Sakura. Hinata just sighed and let him do as he pleased. She had really liked the first outfit he had tried on. It was a pair of baggy blue jeans and a bright orange t-shirt. It reminded Hinata of Naruto and looked less hot than the orange sweatsuit he always ran around in, but he rejected the outfit, telling Hinata he needed to impress Sakura. Hinata had just shrugged and put the ensemble back. The day continued to follow the same theme. Everything was about impressing Sakura. I'm hungry, what about you? Naruto asked as he finished purchasing his new outfit. Yes, I am too. Let's go to Ichiraku since I promised you ramen earlier but forgot. It'll be my treat. Naruto grinned as he held the door open for Hinata. That sounds fine. Hinata said shyly. As they made their way to Naruto's favorite ramen shop, Hinata couldn't help feeling happier than she had at the beginning of their TS. She had fun shopping with Naruto, even it was for another girl, and she enjoyed the faces and comments he made about every outfit he had to try on. At one point he told her he would just go on the date in his underwear and he would have to tell Sakura he couldn't find anything suitable to wear. Then he laughed as he told Hinata that if he ever did that, Sakura would pound him as hard as she could and it would take him weeks to recover. When they arrived at the Ichiraku, Hinata took the stool next to Naruto and happily allowed him to order for her. After he was done, he turned to her. So, where do you think I should take her tonight? Why don't you bring her here? Hinata asked, pleased with the idea. It was his favorite place and there would be more meaning to their first date by having it there. No, I can bring her here anytime, I want to take her somewhere that will take her breath away. Naruto's eyes lit up as he said the last few words and Hinata knew of only one place that would please him. Well, there is one restaurant in Konoha that can do that. Her voice was quiet. It lays on the outskirts of town next to the lake. It's surrounded by giant trees that light up the water at night. It's very romantic. There is even a place to eat outside, but it's very expensive. What's it called? Naruto was practically leaning off of his stool. The lake house. The lake house. Naruto repeated. Then Ayami, the brown-haired daughter of Ichirukas, came with their food. She promptly set down their bowls and disappeared into the back. Naruto looked down at his steaming bowls and ravenously began devouring them. After he had finished his third bowl, he stopped to take a small breather before he started on the next three. He turned to say something to Hinata, but forgot what it was as he watched her delicately scoop up some ramen and gently blow on it. Then she carefully brought it to her small, but full lips and sucked the liquid and the noodles lightly off the spoon. His eyes began to wander from her lips, down the front of her exposed end, to her delicate arms and her bare chest. The pink dress she was wearing was very revealing for Hinata. Naruto had to admit that if it had been any other girl, he probably wouldn't have given her a second look, but... Hinata, Naruto said softly as he stared intently at his soup. Hinata put her spoon down and tilted her head toward Naruto. He could see her celestial lavender eyes staring at him intently. Curiosity lining her marble face. Yes, she said softly. Naruto forced himself to face her. I was just wondering. Damn it, why was this so hard? It was a simple question, why couldn't he ask her? She was the same Hinata after all. She hadn't changed. She was still the weird dark-haired girl from the training ground. Naruto tried again. I was wondering, how did you do that cool jutsu you hit Neji with? He flashed a toothy grin at her. Nice job, Naruto. Oh, is that what you want to know? Well, it's nothing really. I have a hidden chakra reserve that I tap into and I focus it all to my hands. Neji's the one that discovered it about 3 years ago now. He was training with me and then I felt a surge charge through my body and a few sparks escaped from my hands. After that, Neji has been training me to call on my reserve and to release it. The best I can do so far is the twin lion's fist you saw. I know it's not much for the 2.5 years of training I've put in, but one day Neji hopes I will be able to control the extra chakra and release it in multiple places from my body, but I'm too weak for that now. Hinata lowered her head in shame and stared into her ramen. Who told you that? Naruto felt anger and an urge to protect Hinata, from what he didn't know, but he didn't care. You're not weak. Did you see the way Neji collapsed after you caught him with your lion fist? I think you're strong enough to call upon and release your extra chakra now. I think you're just scared. Hinata shook her head adamantly. No, Naruto. I am too weak to handle the amount chakra my body creates. The first day I summoned it, I passed out and was unconscious for weeks. Even now, I will black out from exhaustion, although it's not as bad. Naruto stared at Hinata and imagined her delicate face lifeless on the ground. He envisioned her black hair encompassing her as her limbs lay still and Neji standing over her with a sneer dancing on his lips. Suddenly, it wasn't Hinata he was looking at anymore and he was back in the empty depth of the cave. Neji was gone and the bright light of the flames were blinding. Hinata, you are stronger than you believe, he said as the images in the cave overtook his mind. Hinata shyly looked away. Hinata, there is something else I must ask you. Have you heard anything about Sasuke? Hinata's eyes went big at the sound of his name and she lifted her head to face Naruto again. I think I saw him last night, in the village, Naruto explained, when I was walking home from Sakura's. I ran out into the street after him, but by the time I got there, he was gone. Hinata took the time to process this new information before responding. The first sighting of Sasuke was almost 3 years ago. Neji saw him that day after I had passed out from training. He couldn't go after him because I had been in the way, he needed to get me help and I couldn't be left alone. By the time Neji went back to search for him, he was gone. Over the years many people have reportedly seen Sasuke. Normally, it happens once a month, but lately, he has appeared more frequently. Have you seen him, Hinata? Naruto's gaze was intense and Hinata looked away. No, I have not. As far as I know neither have Kiba or Shino. Naruto bit his lower lip in thought and Hinata knew what he was thinking. No, Naruto, I don't believe Sakura has either. So why hasn't anyone caught him yet? He inquired. Most of the people he has appeared in front of are in some precarious position. Not too long ago, a pair of ninjas spotted him on their return home from a mission, but both were too injured to follow him. He doesn't appear often, and never at the same time or place. So then why did he appear to me? I wasn't injured or involved with anything else. In fact, I should have been able to follow him before he got away, but it was as though he just disappeared on me. Did you notice anything strange about the encounter? Hinata pushed. No, just that he vanished like he was never there. What about the way he looked? The time of day? The landscape? No, and no. Naruto listed. He looked like the same Sasuke and the streets looked normal. Hinata stared up at the sky and gave a little frown. We should be heading back, you need to prepare for your date tonight. Wow, it's that late already. Naruto chimed in as he rubbed his head. Hinata smiled to herself as she noted his nervous habit. Well, I guess I'll walk you back home. As they made their way out of the ramen shop, Hinata heard a familiar panting and felt a furry head nuzzle up to her leg. Hello, Akamaru. She bent down and let him lick her cheek as she patted his back. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting anything. A hard voice said. I was just taking Akamaru out for a walk. Oh, I was just going to walk Hinata home. Naruto said, smiling. Yeah, he has to go home and get ready for his date. Hinata frantically added. Oh, is that so? Kiba eyed Naruto questioningly, but refrained from being too nosy, besides he could find out anything he wanted to know from Hinata. How about I walk her home? Akamaru has missed her lately. Kiba said in time for his companion to eagerly brush up against Hinata and knock her down. Laughing, Hinata picked herself up and brushed the dirt off of her dress. Kiba's felt a twinge as he noted the pink fabric of the dress Hinata was wearing. Thanks Kiba, that would great. Naruto turned to Hinata. Thanks for all your help today, we should hang out again soon. You're a great friend. Then he patted her arm and took off down the street, all the while wondering if Sakura knew about him. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.